Caitlin Clark just did something no player has done in 30 years of WNBA history. Not once, twice, in the same week. Last night against Connecticut, she put up 27 points and 11 assists in only 27 minutes. And by the time the buzzer went off, Clark and the Indiana Fever had broken 15 different records in a single game. 9 of them belonged to Clark alone. Stick around because one of these records has never been touched by anyone else in WNBA history. And I mean, nobody's even come close. This wasn't a close game. This was a full-blown demolition. And we're breaking down every single record that fell. Show your love for Caitlin by commenting CC MVP down below. Player of the Week Caitlin Clark, putting together one of her best halves in her career. 17 points on 5 of 5 from the three-point line in 10.5 minutes of the game. She's been fantastic, and she's mixed up her drives and her threes with 5 assists to complement her scoring. She's got it all working tonight, making it look easy for herself and for her teammates. Before any of this happened, before the records and the scoreboard pointing, everybody wanted to know one thing. Was Caitlin Clark actually healthy? Or was she just gutting her way through games on a bad back? That question hung over the Fever for weeks. Clark missed time with injury earlier in the season, and every time she came back, fans held their breath watching how she moved, how she planted on that groin, whether she'd wheeze after a hard cut. The absences piled up, and so did the worry. But Clark herself wasn't playing that game of doubt. She came out and said flat out that she felt back to myself after 3 straight good games. And that's not the kind of thing you say unless you mean it. Caitlin, for you mentioned kind of feeling back to yourself. How much these past 3 games has it been kind of almost like a mental boost for you? Yeah, I mean you never like being out with injury. Like it's hard for anybody. And I think especially last year like having to go through like a 4 games off, 4 games play, 4 games on, 4 games whatever it was like that's really hard to kind of find a flow. So I think for myself like just being resilient and able to get my body back pretty quickly to where it was before I missed a couple games and then just finding my flow, and Stephanie White backed it up too, and not just with words. For the first time in a long stretch there was no minutes restriction on Clark heading into this game. Think about what that actually means for a team gearing up for a title run. You don't lift the restriction on your franchise player unless the training staff, the medical staff, and the coach all agree she's cleared. No hedging. No, let's see how she feels in the first quarter. Full green light. That's a massive signal. And it came right before the biggest statistical explosion of her career. Sometimes it can be hard for my teammates too. Like you don't want to come in and disrupt when you haven't been in a couple games. So, just kind of easy my way back into everything. And they've made it easy too. Her teammates felt it too. Kelsey Mitchell talked about Clark's determination, her push to be the best version of herself every single night, and Aaliyah Boston kept pointing out how Clark's comfort level kept climbing game after game. That's the part fans on the outside couldn't see. From the outside, it was all speculation, all can she really go full speed? All cautious framing from analysts who'd watched her limp through earlier games. Inside the Fever locker room, the mood was completely different. Calm, confident, almost like they knew something the rest of the league didn't. That gap between outside doubt and inside belief is exactly where this story lives. Reporters kept asking about health. Teammates kept talking about rhythm, and Clark kept insisting she felt great, building on each outing, one game closer to whatever this was building toward. Nobody outside that locker room knew just how big this was about to get. And honestly, even inside the building, you get the sense they knew something special was coming without knowing the exact number. Kelsey, I'm curious from your perspective, what have you seen from Caitlin here over these past few games as she's gotten healthier? I just think her ability to lead even while dealing with injury and wanting to be your best self and letting your body be at your best self is a really big deal for us. We've always obviously had some fluctuation as far as like people being in and out. So I get my hats off to Tutu to still lead us and put us in the right position to really be effective. The pregame room had a loose energy to it, the kind you get when a team feels good and isn't forcing anything. Clark wasn't hedging about her body, wasn't dodging questions with the usual athletes speak about taking it day by day. She sounded like someone who'd already decided the doubt didn't matter anymore. And here's a small taste of what was coming. By the end of the night, Clark's line read 27 points, 11 assists. We'll get into exactly why that stat line breaks the sport in half a little later, but just sit with those 2 numbers for a second. Clark didn't just tell reporters she was fine. She walked out onto that court and made the entire Connecticut Sun roster feel it. Possession after possession. And by the time the first quarter ended, everybody in the building understood the health scare was over. What happened next wasn't just a good game. It was proof right there in real time that back to myself meant something completely different than anyone expected. It's such a great compliment to a player that they can make the game simpler and get her teammates easy shots. It's the way I call us servants of the game. You think about the skill set of your teammates. You put the balls Forget the individual records for a second, because before any of that, the Fever broke this game open as a team. And Indiana's never scored like this before. From the opening minute, the pace was different. Clark caught fire from 3, going 5 for 5 in the first quarter alone. And every possession down the floor felt faster than anything Connecticut had prepared for. You could see it on the Suns' faces, that moment where a defense realizes it's already a step behind. They tried switching, tried doubling, tried sitting back in the paint, and none of it slowed Indiana down even a little. Clark 5 for 5. Come on, Kaylin. Shoot till your arm falls off. Mitchell, Boston, the All-Stars showing out. What a quick delivery. There wasn't much space to get that ball to Boston. Clark goes behind the back. Clark spinning on Miller. Clark flips it up. Gets the roll in 1. By halftime, the Fever had 70 points on the board. 70. That's a franchise record for any half in team history, blowing past their old mark of 64 points from last July. And here's the part that really tells the story. Clark scored or assisted on 35 of those 70 points, meaning she had a hand in exactly half of everything Indiana did in that half. Every quarter they played, they scored at least 25 points, which is the kind of consistency you almost never see from a team that's supposedly still finding its rhythm. The scoring didn't stop after the break either. Indiana finished with 123 points, a new franchise record for any game ever, and the third highest total in a non-overtime game in WNBA history. Think about that for a second. 30 years of this league, thousands of games played, and only 2 teams ever scored more in regulation than the Fever did that night. They came close to pushing it even higher. And honestly, watching the pace they played at, 130 felt like it was sitting right there for the taking. Mitchell coast to coast beats the buzzer. Why not for an Indiana offense that just put together its finest 20 minutes in franchise history? Is that a 70 on the scoreboard in the first half? The final score landed at 123-88. A 35-point win that stands as the second highest margin of victory in franchise history. Indiana outscored Connecticut in every single quarter, which means there was never a stretch where the Sun even threatened to climb back into it. And that 100-point output wasn't a one-off either. It's Indiana's 11th game this season scoring 100 or more, which ties a WNBA record. And they've still got 17 games left on the schedule to break it outright. Harris turns on the Jets, banks it in, and a foul. 3-point play coming for Ty Harris, who hit a 3 a moment ago. I mean, Ty Harris playing off the drag naked 2-man game. None of this happens if the bench falls flat, and it didn't. Tyasha Harris came off the bench and dropped 12 points with 6 assists. Monique Billings added 12 of her own. And between Sophie Cunningham, Grace Van Lutten, and Michaela Timpson, the reserves kept the pressure on Connecticut so the starters could actually rest. The bench combined for 31 points, which meant Stephanie White could pull her stars for stretches without watching the lead shrink. That kind of depth is what turns a big night into a blowout. She has turned into, especially over these last few weeks. Boston deep position size advantage and won. When you run ahead of the Aaliyah, Boston made sure this wasn't a one-woman show either. She finished with 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in only 20 minutes. And get this, she actually had more assists than both Kelsey Mitchell and Tyasha Harris through the first half. That's a forward setting up guards, which tells you how much her game has grown as a passer, not just a scorer. It's one of the reasons that they are struggling to find that rhythm. Oh, Mitchell the NO look over to Boston for the deuce. Extraordinary. And it's not just as we talked about her scoring. Look at that pass coming off the screen. The quickness, they just feed it into an Aaliyah. And that's how you land on the trio record. Clark's 27, Mitchell's 23, Boston's 22, and all 3 hit 20 points in the same game for the 7th time in their careers and the 3rd time this season. That's now the most games in WNBA history where a trio of teammates all scored 20 or more ever. This wasn't Clark carrying 2 passengers. This was 3 All-Stars clicking on the same night. And that's exactly the kind of engine that turns into individual history, which is where we're headed next. 9 of the 15 records from that game belong to one player, and a couple of them have never been touched by anybody in 30 years of this league. Let's start small before it gets ridiculous. Clark now has 14 shots made from 30-plus feet this season, a WNBA record on its own. That's not a step-back 3 from the wing. That's the logo. That's the kind of shot coaches yell at you for taking in practice. And Clark's hitting them at a rate nobody in league history has ever hit them at. On both sides, Boston over to her fellow All-Star, and Caitlin Clark gets the scoring started for Indiana. An area to watch throughout this, Mitchell the fastest in the W. Clark 2 for 2 from outside the arc. Here's Caitlin Clark, my friend. We knew you were where you were going. Some preserves. Caitlin Clark 3 for 3 from outside. Now climb up a level. Clark has 10 career games with at least 25 points and 10 assists, and that's the most in WNBA history. Sabrina Ionescu is second on that list with 5. Not close. Clark has literally doubled the next best guard to ever do it, and she's still only in her 3rd season. Here's where the minutes come in, and this is the part that breaks people's brains a little. Clark holds 1st and 2nd place for fewest minutes played in a 25-point 10-assist game ever. She did it in 27 minutes against Connecticut. And just days earlier, she did it in 29 minutes against Seattle. She's not just putting up the numbers, she's putting them up and getting subbed out before the 4th quarter even really gets going. Stephanie White was asked in the post-pregame as Clark hits her for 3. He's got 4 in 8 minutes. Knowledge, Clark? 5 for 5. Come on, Kaylin. Shoot till your arm falls off. Which brings us to the record teased at the start of this video. Clark is the only player in WNBA history to record 25 points and 10 assists in under 30 minutes. And she's done it twice in the same week. Twice. 30 years of this league, hundreds of players, and this exact combination of scoring, playmaking, and pure efficiency has belonged to exactly one person in the same 7-day stretch. Then there's the plus-minus. Clark finished the Connecticut game with a plus 26, meaning Indiana outscored the Sun by 26 points during her time on the floor. Pair that with her 27 points and 11 assists, and she becomes the first player ever with 25 plus points, 10 plus assists, and a plus 25 or better all in the same game. That's not just Clark scoring. That's Clark scoring while her team dominates every single minute she's out there. Clark goes behind the back. Clark spinning on Miller. Clark flips it up, gets the roll in 1. Estimate how much time Caitlin Clark has spent in the gym working, perfecting, creating. She's got her 3-point shooting stacks right into this, too. Clark now has 7 career games with 25 points, 10 assists, and 5 threes made. Sit with this. The rest of WNBA history. Every player who's ever laced up combined for 4 such games total, Clark alone has 7. She's not just ahead of the field, she's ahead of the entire field added together. Same story with 2010 assist games this season. Clark has 6 of them. The rest of the WNBA, every team, every guard, every star combined has 6. That's the whole league matching one player stat for stat. And she's still got 17 games left to pull away even further. And through all of it, Clark's averaging the fewest minutes per game in a 20-point per season by a guard in WNBA history. That's the efficiency number that ties the whole night together, because this isn't a player grinding out heavy minutes to hit these marks. This is someone doing it in less time than anybody else who's ever tried. So, when Clark said she felt back to myself before this game, this is what that actually looks like on paper. 9 records one night, and at least 2 of them belonging to a category of 1. The pregame promise wasn't just words. It was a preview of exactly this franchise record in scoring. What made you most proud about this win? Yeah, I thought we just started off really well and we kind of got off to a couple slow starts in our last couple games. So that was a focus coming in for us tonight, and thought we shared the ball really well. We played up-tempo. And then obviously everybody just had one of those nights when the ball was going through the hoop, and I thought we finished well, too. Another double-double for you. How were you able to pick apart the defense? Yeah, I think just playing up-tempo, playing in transition, trying to find my teammates early. Obviously with the way we're able to make shots, it really opens the floor. While Clark grabbed every headline, Kelsey Mitchell quietly put her name next to the greats of this league. Mitchell knocked down 3 or more threes for the 11th straight game, which now stands as the 5th longest streak like that in WNBA history. Think about what that means for a defense. You can't leave Mitchell open for a second. Not on a curl, not in transition, not on a simple kick out, because she's knocking down shots at a pace only 4 other players in WNBA history have ever sustained for longer. Defenses were already forced to pick their poison with Clark running the show. Now they've got Mitchell igniting from the corner every single night, and there's no easy answer left on the floor. Then the 3rd quarter got tense. Clark took contact on a drive, the kind of hard foul that's been following her all season, and the whistle blew again right after. Sun guard Sia Rivers said something to Clark after the play, claiming she'd locked her up. Clark shot back without hesitating, telling her to check the scoreboard. Fair point. Indiana led 95-67 at that moment, so the confidence wasn't exactly misplaced. Got a technical foul tonight. Where? Yeah. Sometimes you come in here, you said. Hey, I just didn't know. But we said in the past, you wouldn't change anything. But yeah, you got to how do you? She said that she was guarding like she said she was locking me up. So I said scoreboard. And the ref didn't like that. But I mean, what quarter was this? It was in the third. You got subbed in. Look right here. You got subbed in right after that. It's not Kelsey. No, it's not. Yeah, I guess. How do you balance that when you know one more suspension in the exchange to hand out double technical weekend award? And the building got loud in that specific way it does when everybody senses something special unfolding. That technical was Clark's 7th of the season. Under league rules, 7 technicals trigger an automatic 1-game suspension. So she's sitting right on the edge now, one bad whistle away from missing a game with 17 still left on the schedule. Stephanie White even joked about it after the game, saying if Clark wants to be strategic about resting, she could let her fly and just take the suspension on her own terms. But White wasn't really laughing about the bigger picture. She talked about Clark's fire being exactly what makes her who she is, and how finding the balance between that competitiveness and staying on the floor is the real challenge going forward. And that's really the point here. This isn't some separate storyline from the records. It's the same competitive edge running through both. The player who scored or assisted on 35 first-half points is the same player who's not backing down from a guard talking trash with the lead already at 28. Clark isn't interested in changing how she plays just to avoid a whistle. And honestly, that refusal to shrink is probably why she's putting up numbers nobody else in league history has touched. That same week, Clark was named the cover athlete for NBA 2K27 Deluxe Edition. And this isn't some WNBA-only spin-off cover. This is the Global Premium Edition releasing worldwide on September 4th, putting her right alongside names like Victor Wembanyama and Derrick Rose. No WNBA player has ever gotten this kind of cover before. Clark called it cool and pretty surreal, and said she hopes seeing herself on a cover like that gets young girls picking up a controller and realizing women's basketball belongs in the same conversation as the men's game. That's reach going way past the league itself, landing in living rooms of kids who've never watched a single WNBA possession. I mean, like I'm never going to back down. And you know, I think it was the same thing with the way Kelsey was in the first half, too. Like, you know, she got one in the eye. Like, she's never going to back down from a moment. And I think just like continue to try to control your emotions the best you can. And that intensity and that fire is what makes me me. But also like knowing my team needs me and finding a good balance of that. But you know, I don't think like I'm going to be playing with that in the back of my head. I think that might hinder my play a little bit. So I think just continue to be myself and then just try to refocus to, you know, focusing on my teammates and how I can help them. Do you think it's inevitable? None of the record-breaking or the cover reveals happen without the gritty stuff underneath it. Lexi Hall and Monique Billings handled the physical stretches all night, boxing out, taking charges, doing the work that doesn't show up in a highlight reel but keeps the stars able to operate. Between the technical foul drama and the 2K cover landing in the same week, one thing's obvious: Clark is impossible to ignore right now. Whether she's pointing at a scoreboard or staring back at you from a video game case, picture the walk off the floor. 27 minutes on the clock. 27 points. 11 assists. A stat line nobody's produced in 30 years, and Clark's done it twice in 1 week. She said she felt like herself again before tip-off. And the box score didn't just agree, it buried the doubt completely. Now look at what's stacking up for 2026. Clark, Mitchell, and Boston all hitting 20 in the same game. A three-headed offense that finally looks unstoppable. An MVP case building in real time. This team is peaking early. Stick around, because the next game might top this one. Show your love for Caitlin by commenting CC MVP down below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we bring you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one, right here on Hoops Uncovered.